Lwandile is standing by there for us, who will give us an update and a sense of what is currently happening there. Lwandile, over to you.
Well, greetings to you and greetings to everyone watching at home. We are coming to you from Mthatha in the Eastern Cape. The town was brought to a standstill from the early hours of the morning when taxi drivers who are striking blockaded all entry points, and this has affected a lot of people, a lot of businesses. It has affected voting as well. We saw blockaded roads from R61 from Ngoboside to Port St. John's, as well as N2 from the side of Dujwa to the side of Durban. No one could go in. Health services were affected. Nurses that were working during the night shift could not go home. Those who were working in the morning could not go to work. Schools were closed, and IEC voting stations were also affected in the areas, especially close to town, close to the CBD, as those areas were also inaccessible. And we saw in some areas close to Mthatha where there were IEC officials going to home visits for those who were casting their special votes today. As we can see right now here in Mthatha, we're starting to see movements right now as the clothes have just been opened, and there are still areas that are still closed as the trucks that were used to blockade those roads. Some batteries were stolen. We on the N2 on the side of Payne to East London, we saw looting of many trucks that were on that side. Diesel were stolen. Batteries were stolen in some trucks, as the trucks are usually driven across the road, and then the keys are taken away from the drivers, and then the keys are confiscated by the people who are striking, in this case the taxi operators. And we heard that this is because of the guns that were confiscated last week Friday from the taxi operators who were guarding their taxi bosses in the Mthatha Hospital, Nelson Mandela Academic Hospital. This follows an attack on their bosses when they were coming from the side of Maclear to Mthatha from a meeting they were having there. They were attacked by a rival taxi association, and then they were taken to this side of Mthatha. Their security guards were there with their guns, and then cops had to confiscate some of the weapons that they were carrying inside the hospital. And then we had a voice note that if their guns are not given back to them, there will be a strike, there will be a shutdown. And I think that was a Friday afternoon. And then again yesterday, we had the early hours of yesterday, we had another voice note and also a video of some of the people who are claiming to be part of the taxi association, saying that they want their guns back, and if their guns back are not given, back, there will be a standstill. And that was what we saw this morning. Standstill, nothing. All the shops have been closed. It's been hard for some people to even buy bread. I saw one garage that was open. Many people were driving to that garage just to buy bread and some necessities. We're only seeing people right now just leaving town. We're also seeing some cars is still getting into town, and we saw some videos where they were burning tires inside of Mthatha. And we also heard on the side of Port St. John's that at the area of Dangwana also there was a shutdown there as well. Apparently those guys that are protesting there are in the same association as the guys that are protesting here. But we still to hear if there are any people who have been injured during this strike. But the videos that we saw is only the videos of looting only. And also we did hear that there are also IEC voting stations that have been affected by this. Only we can see, we will see maybe tomorrow if things will go back to normal. Also we haven't had anything official from the side of the taxi industry if maybe the strike will be called off, but we will wait and see as the day progresses.
Of course, we're also hearing that flights have also been affected by this, which is concerning. But what are authorities saying to you? I mean, of course, we know that the IEC will be holding its press briefing in about an hour or two's time. Hopefully, we'll get an understanding in terms of what is happening on that end. But in as far as law enforcement authorities, what is happening there?
Well, we did see law enforcement from the early hours of the morning, but they had to wait for POBs to assist, because in some of the areas that were closed, there were taxi security guys that were carrying rifles. So that's why it was very scary for people to even try to access those areas, because they were carrying rifles. So we did hear that the police are waiting for reinforcement, but now we can see that the reinforcement did arrive in the early hours as well, around 8 p.m. They were trying to negotiate. We hear that there have been people that have been arrested. In some areas, they're still negotiating with the taxi drivers that are blockading the areas. So we will hear if maybe there are any arrests that were made during this time. Maybe we will hear from that. But for now, we haven't really had something. The statement that we have been receiving, a statement from the Premier as well, condemning such attacks and violent protests. So we will hear, but they have been visible on the ground. We are seeing taxi police vehicles roaming around, just looking after the infrastructure in town, because the town as well was empty. So there were a few people around. They were going around also. And also during this protest, as it is said that it is a taxi protest, there have been also some protests that behind them, like I don't know, maybe some communities tried it maybe to also assist them, because we were seeing in the area of Tokana, we weren't seeing any taxis there. We were seeing the community also pelting cars that were trying to access town with stones. So we're not sure if that protest is also the same protest, or maybe they're trying to join this protest, maybe to also trying to make sure that their demands, we don't know what their demands are, but we have seen in these areas around Mthatha as well as Spangweni, people just protesting, standing on the side of the road, burning tires. We weren't seeing any taxi operators. We're just seeing community members doing it. So we still need to go to these communities, and also these are communities that were inaccessible due to them being blockaded by the trucks in the areas of Mthatha as well, so we can't even go to those areas. Like we are just coming to work in just an hour, so we couldn't get to work. We couldn't get to the town. So it's been a very, very tough day, very hectic day in Mthatha. We haven't seen it like this since COVID. It's been very quiet. It's Monday. Usually on Mondays it's very busy in Mthatha. So now we're still waiting for the authorities from the side of the police to release statements, maybe to tell us maybe what they have done with the situation.